Hey guys, Edison here. I just got back from Collecticon, so I'm going to record a video kind of recapping what I thought about the event. I went both days, so it was Saturday and Sunday. I was helping a friend vend at his booth, and it was the first CCG specific event that I've gone to. I've gone to a comic event before, but this is the first time that I've went to one that was specifically for TCGs and collectible card games. And as a subset of that too, it was mostly Pokemon cards. There were some sellers with a small selection of Yu-Gi-Oh! And a small selection of Magic, but typically I would say that was like 20 to 30% of their inventory, but 70% was Pokemon cards. And there were a couple vendors doing sports cards, but a majority of this stuff was definitely just Pokemon graded, sealed, and raw card. There were also TCG affiliated stuff, namely grading. We see right here, I'm walking by the AGS booth. They were there doing on-site grading. It was really expensive. I think it came out to $100 a card, which I personally felt was too much to spend on a card with them, considering that they're a fairly new grading company and they don't have much of a record. Along with other affiliated stuff, there was Whatnot. Whatnot is obviously affiliated with the TCG and collectible marketplace right now is a selling platform. They had this giant area rented out to do live breaks that they were streaming on the app. We could also see here they had DSG, Diamond Supply Grading, had their own booth that was pretty popular, it seemed. I don't think they were doing on-site grading, but you could do drop-offs for your submissions. And we can see right across from DSG and Whatnot was the booth that I was at. It's for a friend of mine who goes by Sub-F Collectibles. You'll see his business card later. But he had just the absolute best selection of graded cards at the whole event. We packed and priced out thousands of CGC slabs to have on display. And it just looked amazing. If there was a card you were looking for, chances are you could find it at this booth. There's his business card if you want to contact him about anything, I suppose. You can. When I wasn't at the booth, I was mostly just walking the floor looking for deals. There were definitely deals to be had. You just had to kind of be selective with it. Some of the stuff was kind of priced over fair market, but as long as you kind of had an idea of what you were willing to pay for stuff, I think you definitely were able to pick up some good deals. I'll end up showing you what I bought from the convention at the end, but I kind of wanted to talk about my favorite part of this con, and that was just being able to meet people in person. I've met a lot of people through Discord, especially in Pokemon. Pretty much everyone I know that does Pokemon, I met online first before anything else. So for me, it was just a real big change to be able to see people face to face and talk to them. And it was just a great feeling. One of the people that I've talked to for a couple months now, Bonnie from Bo Dangers, it was great to see her in person. And someone else was Zach, Gem Mint. I've joked around with him and hung out with him online plenty of times, but to actually be able to hang out in person is a whole nother thing. And I'll try to put photos up that I have with these people, just so you can get a frame of reference of who I'm talking to or talking about. Another example is Kyle. I'm walking around with him in this video, going through the different booths. He's pointing stuff out to me. That was really fun because I've talked to him only here or there, but being in person, you really get to know people a lot better. And this is just stopping at one of the booths. This was a smaller booth, but they just had an absolutely fantastic selection of cards. A lot of this stuff is definitely higher end, and in my opinion, at conventions like this, you want sub $100 slabs. I think that's the stuff that moves really good. But these are just really nice showpieces. Obviously, the Japanese sealed boxes, the Shadowless cards, the first edition, the Legendary Collection, this stuff all looks good. It's like eye candy. But from vending at this event, I just kind of noticed that the cheaper stuff tends to do a little bit better. I think it's just in an easier entry point, especially for people who are more casual collectors of the TCG. It's a lot harder to understand and be willing to pay $200-300 for a graded card, whereas $30-40 for their favorite Pokemon in a slab is super easy to justify and go along with. And then for selection, I noticed that most of the booths there for Pokemon were carrying the super modern stuff, say hidden, after Hidden Fates to now and then WotC. A lot of it was WotC and old back Japanese. A lot of that mid 2000s era stuff up until Black and White was heavily missing from the event. This is one of those sports card sellers that I said weren't too common, but this guy had some cool stuff. He had that Michael Jordan card. He said it was from the actual shoebox for the Jordan 1s from 1985. I know very little about sports cards. I quite frankly think it's like ludicrous, almost like a scam at what these prices are for a lot of these cards. But it was cool to kind of see them in person. They do obviously present super well. And what I really liked about this booth was just the fact that his son was helping him out. As you saw, he like cleaned the table up so we could see the cards, and he was helping explaining stuff with his dad. So that was nice to see. And this is one of the final booths that I saw on Saturday that I did pick up stuff from. They had a pretty nice selection of graded and raw cards. And a couple of these cards I actually wish I had offered on, namely this quarterfinalist. I should have at least checked with them what their price was, and also the Arita signature. I wish I at least asked how much they were looking for on it, so I can at least see if it was something that was worth buying at the event. But overall, like as I said, like regardless of what I ended up buying or getting, the main thing that I enjoyed was just meeting people, other people that I got to actually meet and hang out with for just a little bit. For example, like Flex Gods on YouTube. I've watched his videos in the past and I really like his content, and I ended up through a mutual friend, Swami. We did like a show together, not really a show, like a live stream, but it was like we've talked there, and to actually be able to follow up in person was great. Another person that was part of that same live stream was Basic Trainer. I just talked to him on YouTube, but that's like another example where I met someone online and I ended up being able to like chat with them in real life and see what's up. And it's just so cool that you can make these connections with people over the internet that kind of do translate into something nice in real life. And I know I'm forgetting some people, but shout out to everyone that I got to hang out with and meet. You guys really made the event super special. And here I am opening up my first MetaZoo product. It's also like the first MetaZoo I've ever seen in real life. It's the first time I've opened a pack or even held a card from the game. This is like a preview pack. They gave out other promo stuff at the booth over the weekend, but this is pretty much akin to a Pokemon pre-release pack, similar style of putting the set stamp on it. It's from Nightfall, so you're gonna see a Nightfall stamp on the card. In the same placement that you would see something like an Evolving Skies pre-release stamp. But as I said, this was the first time I've ever opened MetaZoo, and I was shocked. I pulled a Mothman, which, I think everyone knows at this point, Mothman's the best card to pull from MetaZoo. I'm back in New York from Houston, Texas, and this is probably just at the end of that video of all this footage you just saw before. I have a vague idea of how I'm going to plan this stuff out. But I wanted to go over the actual pickups I had from the weekend, because I did end up buying not too much, nothing too crazy, nothing too expensive individually. But in my opinion, I picked up a lot of the stuff that I felt was for a good price. I will start with some of the stuff that I technically got for free, and that is MetaZoo. I've never talked about MetaZoo on the channel before, but they did have a booth at Collecticon Houston. They were giving out a bunch of stuff during the weekend. They were giving out actual packs from the set. They were giving out spoiler packs, which are kind of, to my knowledge and how I was explaining them to people, it seems like it's just like a pre-release pack where it's a card from the set, similar to how Pokemon does. It's a set card with the stamp of the set name, bottom right. Same exact style as Pokemon. So I picked up a couple of those, and then I also got one of the rarer Collecticon exclusive packs in the promo. So I guess we'll just go through them. I think the first two are the same. It's this Collecticon. I've never even read what's this card even called. It says MetaZoo X Collecticon. There's like a name for this, but the description just says that I visited the Collecticon booth. That was a cooler card. Let's do this one first. This is one of those pre-release cards I was talking about from the preview pack. So it's the familiar card. I think this is just regular common. You can see in that bottom right, it has a Nightfall stamp embossed. So I had this one, and you probably saw in footage from the convention as well that I had picked up I had actually opened up one of these and pulled a Mothman, like the regular non-hollow Mothman with the Nightfall stamp. But I don't know if I mentioned it when I was showing the footage, but I actually sold that pretty much the day of on eBay for what I consider a pretty substantial price for what it was. And this is one of those Collecticon packs I was talking about with the Collecticon stamp, and then it's on these hollows. These hollows are pretty cool. I do actually like I like some of like the cooler monsters. This one, the one I really liked that really stood out to me was Wendigo. I thought that one was really sick. Mothman from Nightfall is pretty good too, but Oklahoma Octopus is also really cool. Actually, I've yet to, I don't know. I guess I'm only focusing on the art too. For all these cards, I have not read what they do, what their description is. Other things that I picked up were penny sleeves. These were like cheap packs. Pretty much, just with how like hectic it is to get product like this right now, like packaging products or TCG related products. These were 200 penny sleeves for $2 a pack, so actual penny a sleeve. I don't know. I just ordered like 1,500 more penny sleeves, but I picked up 3 more packs, so like 600 penny sleeves for $6. Seemed really fair, just because I could always use that stuff. And I don't, when you buy stuff at conventions or even online, I always like to sub out the sleeve the original seller gave me once I have it. Like once I buy a card, I like to re-sleeve it just because a lot of the times they're dirty or they have price stickers on them. And the next thing I purchased is just going to be something you're going to see a lot of me buying on the channel, is Greninja Gold Stars. I picked these up from one booth, and I have some other purchases from that booth that I'll show off. But I pretty much just picked up Celebrations cards from them because they were all fairly priced. And these were I thought these were a good deal. We agreed to, if I bought a majority of them, I bought 20 from them, they would do $5 a piece. So 20 Greninja Gold Stars, $5. That doesn't seem bad to me at all. You can kind of see, you saw like the other card that I'm relating these to. I feel like it's going to follow a very similar path to these Moltres Zapdos Articunos. These are all sealed, $10 a piece. I don't think I really negotiated much on these because I would buy these for like $11 on TCG Player, $10 to $11 on TCG Player, but at the convention I was actually able to inspect them and kind of pick out the ones that I felt were minter for $10. That seemed fine to me. And then we'll do a couple of, I have like packs of cards. We'll do these. I ended up just team bagging a bunch of stuff because I didn't really have card savers to put them in. So these are going to be quite varied in terms of what cards you see. Let me see if I can adjust the light a bit. Hopefully this looks better. We have Dark Persian. So we got some Legendary Collection Reverse Hollows. The average price I think was $20 each. Starting, I think I negotiated like pretty much 10% off of everything I purchased. So let's just say I have 18 into these. I thought the Seadra and the Persian were pretty good at that price. Jinx is not that popular, but I don't know. I thought $20 as sub $20 as a baseline for, you can kind of tell the condition. They're like light play. They're very light play with chipping. They're probably going to grade around 7s, I'd say, with CGC based off of edges. So near mint. I thought $18 for those is just a good price. Here's the Celebrations that I had picked up and I was speaking on. I paid $3 a Celebrations card that you're about to see. Same booth as the Greninjas. The people I talked to were super nice there. Just really nice sellers. And I don't know. I just, obviously, I got a pretty good price on this stuff, so I was happy, but they were just very social. And that's what was nice about the convention, is actually being able to talk to people in person about TCGs, about Pokemon, really. Luxray, this stuff is already going for more on TCG Player, but as I said, I would have paid a little bit more, but that was the price they stated. Flying Pikachu and Surfing Pikachu. I want to stock up on these. I just love the art. These I didn't pick up. These are from, I think these were from the, oh no, this is from a different booth. I picked up a lot of this Celebration stuff. Mewtwo EX. So that's all stuff you've kind of seen. I was like one of those piles. And then I actually bought this stuff on Monday morning. We went to a couple of card shops kind of in the perimeter of Houston. And I picked up these baby shinies. They averaged like $1.20 a card, more or less, maybe $1.30. But, oh, sorry, they're not frame. But I'll pick up baby shinies for that price. I inspected them. They were mint.
This was priced at TCG Player Low, which was like $6 and something, like 20 cents, which I thought was fine. $1 for raw seemed fine. And then I picked up this and a couple other cards from a friend out there. But this one's super damaged, and this one's probably like a 5 or 6, just with the scratches. But popular cards, I think, are worth picking up. And then this stuff in this pack should all be from the convention itself. Meganium Prime. They had the full starter set of the Typhlosion and the Feraligatr, but those were a lot rougher than I really wanted to pay, especially for the price. Meganium is just priced lower, I think, because it's not the most popular. But this one wasn't that bad. So a little bit of edge wear at the top, on the corner. And, this is probably around a 7 as well. Maybe, I think this might be around a 7.5, but I negotiated this down to $10, which I thought was a fair price for a Prime card. These were $5 a piece, some Nidoqueen Hollows from Delta Species. I thought the condition was quite fair. I'd probably rate them around a 8 if you were to grade it. So I thought $5 for a Hollow was really good. I love this Pidgeot Delta Species. This was around, I think this was around $10. I think all three of these were from the same booth for $10. I think I negotiated down to $25 for 3, which I thought was pretty fair considering they're all they're kind of pretty much at the very top end of light play, kind of hovering between light play near mint. These I picked up for $10 a piece. Actually, I think I got a small negotiation because I bought all of this stuff in bulk. But as I mentioned, these are cards I would buy off a TCG Player for low price. But then you can't really inspect them until you get them in hand. And because of that, I'm a little hesitant to buy from TCG Player because you never really know. It seems like a lot of sellers' definition of near mint kind of fluctuates. So being able to inspect these in person, knowing that I always buy them, it made sense. Then I just bought out the store's Jesse and James that they had. They had them for $5 a piece. I think that's slightly under TCG Player. But this was a card that I wish I'd stocked up on way more of, kind of like early this year, because this card kind of spiked to maybe like a double-digit card, maybe a low 10s. It's dropped since. But I really love this card. You can't go wrong with that artwork. I love the Meowth, the Wobbuffet, Jesse and James. I don't think this card really goes below $3-4 a piece ever, and $5 to get them in bulk seemed really fair. And I was able to inspect them all till they were mint. And these were from a different friend that I had actually met there. He brought a binder with him, and then we pretty much just priced everything that I'm showing here for TCG Player Low, minus fees. So I thought that was incredibly fair for both of us. So Venusaur Schneider Gx, I love this alt art from Yukimori. Charizard Braxian GX. I had a couple of those like a while ago, but for a lot of this stuff, I've since sold out of it. And these were some cool cards. One of these is from the same booth. Wow, the lighting's a little rough. I apologize. It's getting late. Let me see if I turn this light off, if it's any better. I don't think we can make it much better. This is Call to Legends, I believe. This is the Ho-Oh SL5 Shiny Ho-Oh. Just a beautiful card. I've never owned a Call to Legends Shining before. But one of these I rated at around, I think it was... So one of these I rated around an 8. I believe it's this one. I thought we'd get an 8. One of these I rated around a 7. I picked these up for what I thought was really fair prices compared to what graded copies were going for. And then obviously it's expensive to have to hold, spend a couple $100 on singles that I'm going to have to hold onto and grade. But these might end up just getting standarded to CGC. But they're really, really beautiful cards. I just love it. And I mean, I would love to get a Shining set from Call to Legends, but I just think I'm kind of priced out of that at this point. I picked those up. And then I picked, these are more cards from that same guy's binder that I went through. But Iris, one of my favorite, this should be black and white. Well, I just realized it's a Himeno artwork as well. That's awesome. Imagine you got this. This would be a really, really cool card if you got Himeno's signature on it. I picked up a couple Marnies. This is a card that I'm not sure on the long-term future of full art trainers. I was actually speaking to the person who sold me these. We were just talking about the safety of these types of cards. And I could also see the market getting burnt out of full art trainers. Like the market is, I would say, pretty burnt out of WotC right now and old back Japanese. I think it's also very oversaturated. And I mean, full art trainers have been hot for how many months? 10 months now, pretty much this whole year. There might be a pullback in 2022 where people aren't as interested in them. Charizard EX from Evolution. Oh, sorry. Charizard X from XY Evolutions. This one was pretty minty. I thought this was at least at 8.5. It's a little off center, left to right. But this was 45. I negotiated to 40. I thought that was a great price for that. Mallow, full art. I really like this one. Shauna. This is the alternate art. This is from, I think, like the best of XY boxes. Here is Shiny Rayquaza. Pretty much a lot of these full arts are from the same guy from that I said we negotiated TCG low minus fees, which I thought was pretty fair. And this one's Skyla. Obviously, it's Japanese. Really, really minty. I think it's at least a 9 for Japanese new back recent card. And this one was, I thought this was a great price. They priced it at $12, which is less than the English copy goes for. But then obviously, I think my assumption is because it was like American card store, they didn't know like the difference between English and Japanese pricing. And for a lot of cards, English is more expensive, but not for full art trainers, definitely not, especially not like waifu cards. So that's like a $50, $60 raw card on eBay, and even like $70 in Japan for a raw copy. So I paid a fifth of that, less than a fifth of that for a copy at a convention. I thought that was great. Let's keep on going though. Here we have a Riku Ex, Metagross Ex. These were both pretty. I kind of went off of these being near mint. Not near mint, light play. They do have some wear, but depending on the day, maybe a greater is favorable to them. These I got in a trade. I'm gonna throw up what it's from. I had an Imakuni signed Lucky Stadium. It's the Kanto Lucky Stadium, I believe. It was signed at the Champions Road event in 2000 in the Kanto region of Japan. And a friend of mine met me out at Collecticon, and we did a trade in person. So I traded that, and these are the cards I got. This is the one I'm most excited about, is this Arita Sig on a Swampert. Swampert Reverse Hollow. I mean, the card is pretty minty, but obviously the actual value comes from having that Arita signature. But I think it's really cool to have Swampert. I mean, to have an Arita drawing Swampert and to also have it with that blue ink kind of matching. I thought that was really nice. And then we also threw in this 2017 English Champions Festival. I guess we'll do the I don't know, this one just, I don't know how to describe this. And this was like a table that just had a bunch of like what I thought were fairly priced Japanese and English singles. I think I picked up some stuff from them too that were in these piles. But they just randomly had like 3 or 4 graded cards. And this was there, Latios GX. Not a crazy card. It's a Unified Minds regular GX card. Nothing really that interesting. But it was a CGC 10. And I flipped it over. And I mean, the thing is really scratched. I should mention that too. I have to buff it out. But the price tag had $30 on it. I ended up negotiating. I just said, if I gave you $25, could I get it? They said, yeah. And to me, that seemed like an absolute steal considering like the last 750 cards I sent into CGC, I got 110. And in my opinion, like if I ever see a CGC 10 on eBay for $25, I could care less about what the card is. I would buy it. That's pretty much the price of grading. I mean, maybe not. That's like double the price of grading. But I mean, like if you've watched my channel for a while, you know how hard it's been to get 10s. So when I saw this in $25, I could not fathom passing it up. I thought that was really cool to find something like that there. So, and finally, the last slab that I picked up was this. It is a Pikachu Slab, Japanese. This was a promo for, I believe it's Mewtwo Strikes Back. It's like the remade version that came out maybe 2 years ago in Japan, in 2019. 2 years ago, it's a remake of the original Pokemon movie in the CGI style. It's signed by Sarah Natoceni. She is the voice actress for Ash. She was the voice actress for Ash in this movie. So I thought it was like a really cool thing to pick up as like a token of that experience and that convention to have her sign, a card for the character that she voice acted. Yeah, and that was the last Pokemon related purchase that I did. This part might bore some people, but I did pick up some comics as well. The main place that I bought from was Bedrock City Comics. This is Showcase right here. Showcase number 37, released March to April 1962. It is the origin and first, oh no, not the origin, the first appearance of the Metalman and Dr. Will Magnus. You can see the Metalman on the cover there. This was priced at $200 for a 3.5. I thought that was, a very, very competitive price, especially for a convention. And this was actually a book that I was already looking for. I was already looking for a copy of Showcase 37. I've been browsing eBay for it. So I pretty much picked the book up that I had already wanted for less than GPA. Less than recent eBay sales. Next up, we have Fantastic Four number 15. This is the first appearance of the Mad Thinker, who is on the cover right here. That's him, the green jumpsuit, and his awesome android, which is right there with the no face. This is a pretty big Fantastic Four key issue. The Mad Thinker is a pretty big Fantastic Four villain. The awesome android as well. And again, this was one that was just under the recent sales for on eBay. So I really saw no reason for me not to just pick this up while I could. They've rated it a 4.0, and I think that's pretty accurate. It's a super clean copy. I think it has a chance of being higher, maybe like a 5. Like the whites are super clean in the text box. It's very flat. It's a little rough on the top, but the main portion is that chip on that corner that I think accurately brings it down to a 3.54, around that range. Next up is Green Lantern number 2. This is the second issue of his 1960 series for Hal Jordan as the Green Lantern right here. This one was priced at $85. It had extra staples that were noted and tape on spine. But the owner, I forget his name, but he was super nice. I really enjoyed talking to him. He pulled the staples out for me, and I ended up picking this up for, again, what I thought was really fair considering recent prices. And this was a book that I had picked up later on when I mentioned we were going to those comic stores. We went to comic and card shops in the periphery of Houston. I saw this. So this book was priced at $230. That's what the sticker said. But I didn't see the sticker, so the book was just lying on a shelf. I asked the worker to pull it out so I could see the price. I had a frame of reference because I thought that these two copies were comparable in grade. So if it was around the same price, I would have picked it up. It said $230 on the label, at 230.00, which I assume was the price. The worker flipped it over and he saw that it said 1960. It said 60 on the thing for the year. And he said, oh, it's a $60 book. So I said, okay, I'll take it for 60. Which might be a little bit bad on me, to just try to pounce on that. But it's not my fault that the worker there didn't actually know what the price of the book was. And I don't know. But regardless, I thought that was a fair price. I think $230 is way too expensive for this book. I would say this book is worth no more than $100. So that's what I thought. They wouldn't let me open up the book in the store. I asked about that. It was taped shut. This isn't what it came in. It came in this very heavy bag and board that I didn't like, so I replaced it. It was taped shut. They said I couldn't take it out to inspect the book before purchasing. So, I said, what the hell? I'm guessing it's a comic book store, so that means they should have flipped through the book. I guess I'll pull it out too. It's a comic book store, so I assume they would have flipped through the book to count the interior pages. That's the main thing. I wanted to make sure it was complete. So I assumed that they had counted it because they're a store and they had verified how many pages are in there, so it's complete. So I didn't get to check it because we had to eventually go to the airport. We were kind of in a rush, so I just took it in the bag and board and left the store. On the plane ride home, I decided to go through my purchases and just, look through them, look through the comics and count up the pages, make sure they were complete. The purchases I made from Bedrock City, absolutely fine. They were perfectly, they were exactly what they were described as. But this one, I noticed right here, it's missing the coupon. Right there, be my guest at Palisades Amusement Park, New Jersey. So as you know, I have 2 copies of this now. I checked my other copy. There should be a giant coupon here that says 2 free rides and then an access pass. It was obviously cut out so someone could go in 1960 to this Palisades, New Jersey amusement park. Which really pisses me off. Dude, the book isn't the book was on the label that they had. They said they rated it a 2.0. 2.0 means like, obviously that's the grading of it, but it can't be a 2.0 if it's missing stuff. And if it's missing stuff, you have to at least note that. That's why I liked Bedrock City's label is they noted they noted the first appearances in the book. They noted tape on the spine. They noted the extra staples added after manufacturing. And I'm assuming they would note that if it was missing something as big as a coupon at the centerfold. And I'm really just frustrated that was the case with that. That's so stupid that an actual comic book store, a nice comic book shop too, would do that. And I think it's absurd, regardless, that you don't let customers flip through the books before they buy it. I understand too, like some books are expensive, but I keep referencing back to Bedrock City here, their stall. But that Fantastic Four book was $300. They let me take it out of the sleeve and flip through it and count everything up and inspect it. I don't know. It's just such a weird policy. I'm really disappointed that that's an actual store that's running like that. But yeah, these were the purchases. I thought these were pretty cool stuff. Really diverse selection of stuff I picked up for Collecticon. It was all stuff that I thought was really fairly priced. And I had so much fun. Like, I hope the footage and the kind of voiceover really explain that. And I can't wait to do another convention. And hopefully I can meet more people through YouTube and Instagram at conventions moving forward. All right, thanks for watching and have a nice one, guys.